Are you ready?
You're listening to DJ Oz Ozzy.
Would you believe me when I tell you, you are the queen of my heart? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you, just ain't the way it seems. Can you feel my love buzz? 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 Would you believe me when I tell you, you are the queen of my heart? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you, just ain't the way it seems. Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz?
This holiday, grab some eggnog. Let's gather around the fireplace
and celebrate the birth of our blessed Lord with the soothing sounds of a very special Darth Dawkins Christmas collection. 753 wonderful hits.
Here we go. Shut the fuck up. You're totally clueless, so stop with the shit. Don't ever talk me, you're being rude. I'm old enough to be your fucking father, dude. Shut the fuck up.
All your favorites are here, in one spectacular collection.
You come into my room and mute me. Restore my mic, you fucking troll. Doobie's a fucking asshole I can't tolerate anymore. I've had to quit this server 4 fucking times before.
Digitally remastered and expertly rendered in high-quality audio. Never before has such a splendid compilation been put together.
So the problem with homosexuals is that God made male for females. The Bible is very clear. Don't be queer, don't be queer, don't be queer. Thank you. Bing, 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 bing.
Order with your credit card in the next 30 minutes, and if you manage to successfully render an argument for intelligibility within your godless worldview, you'll receive a beautifully decorated King James Bible, along with your own personally autographed copy of Dawkins' Presuppositionalist Guide, Crushing Atheism. Absolutely free. Merry Christmas, and a blessed New Year.
Boom! You're not server muted. Get out of my room.
Good morning, my beauties and bees. Hello. I always forget how marquee I got the widescreen. I got this more like a movie theater screen. So when I set up my camera, my head's not cut off, but I was cut off when I came on screen here, wasn't it? Good morning, my beauties and bees. It is I, Bumblebee, your humble host of Live from the Hive. It is December 7th. It is now 8:43 a.m., so it's almost time to get over to CrypticCorner already. I got like 2 minutes to preamble. I'm going to preamble longer than that, though, just because I can. I got to say good morning to everybody and just be, it'd be sweet. I never get tired of that Darth Dawkins Christmas thing. I know Darth Dawkins is basically like irrelevant now, so having Darth Dawkins comedy is like having like old Abbott and Costello stuff. People are like, who's that? And it's like, oh, if you knew. It's so funny. Let's say good morning to James and John, who were here first. They're my first 2 disciples. I get up to 12. You get up to 12 disciples. So I got disciple James, disciple John, disciple Dave. You know, we're going to have disciple Ember. Does the bug bot a disciple? I don't think so. Disciple native atheist. Disciple how to rule an asteroid. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. Oh, disciple Robert and Spooky are here. Do you want to be disciple Spooky? Is that skibbity enough for you there, Amber? Is that skibbity? Bourbon for breakfast. Now, that's a concept. I had a bourbon before dinner for Thanksgiving. Oh, yes, of course. Tell me to get up to do my stream late. No, I wasn't late this morning, but I was reluctant to get out of bed. We were up late last night in the soup. Ouch! Ouch, Ember. Oh. He hates being interrupted. Yeah. It's funny that people don't know who he is anymore. He's become so irrelevant. I'm sure he still thinks he's the bee's knees. I will say that my video or my interaction with him is still the one that is guaranteed to get viewers every day. Every day it gets viewers. It's crazy. So, yeah, if you want a quick, easy way to get people to come watch your videos, just go interact with Darth Dawkins and record it, because people will come to see that from all corners of the internet. And they will comment too. It's got thousands of comments on it. But yeah, if that's what you want to do for content. I didn't want to do that for content, so I've kind of moved on with what I do and structured my show different and everything. So here we are. And matter of fact, here we are getting ready for Cryptic Corner, because we are doing a classic today. We are going to be exploring, if you can't see the name down below, the real Chupacabra. Yeah, so hang in there. This is gonna be a fun one. I'll see y'all over in Cryptic Corner. Good morning, my beauties and bees, or good evening. It's get the window blinds open for this episode of Cryptic Corner, because we're looking out over the desert. Welcome, one and all, to the place where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm Bumblebee, yeah, like I said, your host here, and it is time to unveil the Chupacabra. Now, I did a video. Now, I know I've done Chupacabra before, but the video I did on Chupacabra before was alleged, like, videos of Chupacabra, right? And it was mostly it was hairless, or foxes with mange, coyotes with mange. It was bears with mange. It was a raccoon with mange. Or they might not have mange. They might have just had some other disease that was hairless, but mange is the most likely culprit. But there are classic cases of the Chupacabra, and this channel that pops up in my feed now called Groovy Gavin, it covered it. So I figured we will see, because he traveled all over Texas, actually, to the locations and talked to the people. So that had these initial, I don't even say sightings, but I mean, come on. Where are you, Chupacabra? Not that. That's us. There you are. All right, Hive. Let's dive right into, is the Chupacabra actually real?
And this is the real Chupacabra.
Hundreds of animals have mysteriously ended up dead with their blood completely drained out of them. Some people believed it was a snake, a type of bat, a satanic cult, but all of them got disproven. The only thing people
Who believed it was a snake is what I want to know. I don't know anybody who's like, Chupacabra, that was a snake. That's just not, that's not happening. It's not happening. Where's that happening at?
haven't been able to disprove is that it was the Chupacabra, basically a vampire dog. With tons of sightings all around the world, a lot of people believe in it. So I'm gonna go to the most popular sightings to find these people who apparently actually have the Chupacabra and to see if there's enough evidence to prove that the Chupacabra could actually be real. Right now, we're right in front of Mexico, where most people think the Chupacabra comes from. But the Chupacabra actually comes from a small town in Puerto Rico. So in like the 1980s, the town had a bunch of animals just start
That is a thing. People think that the Chupacabra was like, oh, it's a Mexican monster, Mexican cryptid or whatever, the Mexican Bigfoot. And it's like, no, it's not from Mexico. It's from Puerto Rico.
randomly dying. The most common animal was goats. Chupacabra means goat sucker. And they would have like 2 giant teeth marks in them with all the blood drained out of them.
Vampire dog.
Which no animal does that. And eventually some people in the town started seeing a dog-like creature. It was like grayish, kind of scaly. Sometimes people said it had glowing red eyes. Sometimes people even...
And it said spines sticking out. That's always one of those weird things that has like quills like a porcupine.
said it had wings. The sightings kind of stopped in Puerto Rico, and then...
You have no idea how much I'm itching to do another episode of Cryptic Corner on the thylacine. Oh my god, how to rule an asteroid so much. I listened to... So there's this odd little channel called Tantanula Tiger that I'm subscribed to. And there's this guy, and he's just adorable, okay? I'm just going to say it. I think he's adorable. His name's Jamie. He's like, Jamie here. He tells stories about Tasmanian tiger sightings. It's so cute. And I would love to cover an episode on that. I got a whole thing lined out for it. I got a couple videos. I need at least 12 minutes to make a full episode of Cryptic Corner. A full episode. I usually like more. I really like to get closer to 20 to 25 minutes. That's about perfect. But with the stuff I have so far for the thylacine, well, we just did the thylacine too with the Forrest Galante hoax thylacine. So if you didn't see that, that's been it should have been that long ago that the video premiered. But it has a picture of the guy holding the stuffed tiger. Let me see. I can look and see when that came out. Hold on. We will see. If you want thylacine, because I love talking about it. It's like one of my favorites. But has it been that long ago? Maybe it has. I'm looking like it in back in September and stuff now. Oh yeah, it was a while ago. It was back in August. Yeah, back in August was last time. No, don't leave now. Don't leave now. Wait till this is over. Wait, just hold your horses.
And they started a lot in Mexico and a ton in Texas. There's even this lady in this town that's like 6 hours away from here that we're gonna go to, who apparently has a chupacabra in her freezer. But before we get to that, there are 4 main sightings that basically make up the entire history of the chupacabra that I will be investigating. First, we started along the border of Mexico and Texas, where the chupacabra has been seen multiple times, so we drove along the border searching and then wanted to get a closer look.
Now, I live really super close to the border. It looks like they just crossed the border, though. Why did you cross into Mexico? Are you going to Mexico?
I think we're in...
Oh, this is all police. I don't think we're supposed to be over here. So I'm just turning around. Have you heard of the Chupacabra by chance? The Chupacabra? Oh, okay. Yeah.
The driver shame.
Dude, we almost illegally snuck in.
Oh, wow. I wonder where they are in the border. Like, oh, yeah, we're here with the border, but the border stretches hundreds and hundreds of miles. It's not a short... And even in Texas, there's a lot of border in Texas. Texas is absolutely huge. Like, Grayson is stopping by to see us. He left last night. He left the eastern Texas area that he lives in, and he probably will not get here till later this evening. It's a long drive across the state of Texas, the Lone Star State.
Into Mexico. There honestly just wasn't much evidence for the sightings at the border, but this next sighting had an unbelievable amount of evidence. All right, so we did go more out to the country. This town of Cuero, I don't know if I'm saying that right, has had a lot of sightings of the Chupacabra, but there's one sighting that's extremely popular from a woman named
Dr. Phyllis Canyon, and this.
Cuero is in East Texas too. It's, the southeast Texas. It's south of San Antonio, I believe. Actually, you know what? It says just believe in Bree. Why don't you look on the map? You have a map pulled up like always. So look on the damn map. You got it. You got it located. Yeah. I guess it'd be better to say that it's south of Austin, southeast of San Antonio. Yeah. But here's Cuero. This little town in Texas. I don't know where they were on the border. I'm assuming they were probably somewhere down, like, in this area. Maybe down by Laredo. That's a popular border crossing. Anyway, back to Dr. Canyon.
Is the real Chupacabra.
This is probably one of the craziest sighting stories I've heard of any creature. Because it wasn't like she just saw it or something. She hit it with her car. Like, she got out, she looks at it, and she's like, this is not a normal looking dog. It fit the description of the Chupacabra. And after that, she took some DNA samples. And
Did it though? Gray fur to no fur. Okay. No quills, no wings. I don't know that I like my Chupacabra with wings anyway. I don't know if that fits the initial lore.
She started sending it to, like, I think 12 different labs to get it tested to see what animal it was. Each one came back, and every single one didn't match anything in their database. We're gonna try to find her, and then ideally go to her house and open up her freezer.
Excuse me, have you guys seen the Chupacabra?
A sighting a while back, but not recently. She lives out there on Goliad Highway.
I don't even really know where I'm driving to right now. I wasn't really sure where that dude said, so we started asking around, and immediately...
Did he say Goliad Highway?
West Main Street? Okay, thank you so much. We're looking for the Chupacabra. We heard she knows. You think it's just a hungry dog? Yeah, that's what I've heard. We heard she has it in her freezer.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you.
He said she has a store on West Main, which is just up there.
We're looking for Phyllis Cannon.
She used to own that. They will have her number and you can get a hold of her there.
Okay, cool.
There.
I'm not even hunting the Chupacabra anymore. I'm hunting Phyllis. Oh my gosh, bro.
That'd be kind of weird to have people track you down like this on the internet. And they're showing you how to track her down. Please don't ever do this to me. Do not ever do this to me. Like, if someone's like comes to you and says, hey, how do I get a hold of Bree from Hive? I want you, and you know how to get a hold of me? No, you don't. You're like, I don't know. Who? Never heard of him. Please do not let Groovy Gavin track me down. Do not.
So we drove, found her shop, got her number, called, and... Dude, why am I scared? Hello, this is Gavin.
Hey Gavin, this is Dr. Canyon.
I just called. I was wondering if we could just interview you.
Yes, the whole secret is to see the animal and have it there, okay?
All right, well, I'll see you then. Thank you so much again.
And he kept referring to it being in the freezer. I do believe she has it preserved. Yikes on bikes. Yeah. Bree is in America. Thank you, Spooky. Vaguely America. Yeah, somewhere over there. What are you, a cop? Exactly, Ember. I get obsessed with people, but I'm way too lazy to be a stalker. I have stalkers. I've had to block. Finally had to block one of my... I had this guy on Facebook, right? I knew him for a long time. He's actually the first person who doxed me on YouTube. he didn't like dox me on purpose, but like we went on a show to have a debate about your friendly, or it wasn't, was it your friendly neighbor? I can't remember what channel it was, but we went on to have a debate, and he's like, he said my full name, and kept insisting that that's who I was and that I should tell everybody that. Really, when I was under my alias back then, I wasn't like public like I am now. But then he like followed me on Facebook. I'm like, okay, yeah, the guy I debated with wants to follow me on Facebook. That's cool. That's normal. But he commented on everything that I posted for 2 years straight. For longer than that. No, it's been longer than that. It's been, with him, it would have been 4 years. Yes, 4 years. He stuck around for a long time. But he was like, always saying, but his arguments were so ridiculous and his commentary was so asinine that I was like, oh, this is funny. I like, at least it's giving me interactions on everything I post, and I can argue with whatever stupid stuff he says. But it got to a point where he like recently accused me of lying about my identity, and I was like, nope, we're done. And I had other ones too. They're not all religious people. I've had stalker folks that were on the friendly side too. Friendly stalkers, parasocial people. So that happens as well.
Yeah. We basically just have to wait till tomorrow morning, and then we're gonna see it. We're gonna see the Chupacabra, man! While we waited to possibly see the real Chupacabra that Dr. Canyon had, there were still 2 other sightings that...
He sees the taxidermied one right there. I don't know why he thinks it's in a freezer. Why do you keep saying it's in a freezer? And I'll tell you right now, this one on the upper left here, that's a raccoon. That's a raccoon. Yeah.
Could possibly also prove that it exists. The next one was, interestingly, another person that claimed to own one. Alright, we're now at Mount Blanco Fossil Museum. I thought this was gonna be the place where we find Chupacabra proof, because someone claimed a fossil of a Chupacabra here. This place closed down earlier this year, and I didn't find that out until we drove hours to get here. But I want to check in here first, because there's a small chance that it's in here, and we can see it through the window. So these are fossils. It's a fossil museum. Look how big that...
I can't imagine that anybody but... Well, I don't know. How are they not getting harassed by the cops doing this? Like shining lights into the windows and looking at the...
Holy crap. It's sick as hell. Dude, it's gotta be in here somewhere. Oh my gosh, I thought that was it, bro. I just know the Chupacabra's in here. First, we try to cross the border illegally. Oh, they want to stop us? It's because they have the Chupacabra. Now, this place is closed. The one place that has the Chupacabra. Interesting.
I do gotta say, that does, yeah, that fuels your conspiracy brain, when stuff keeps happening like that. Why is the universe stacked against me trying to find the Chupacabra?
Is that it?
Oh, I think that is it.
Wait, no, it's not.
No?
That's a dinosaur. Dinosaurs, honestly, coolest thing in the world, bro. I will make a video about dinosaurs one day, because I literally love dinosaurs. So.
Too bad they're not real.
Oh, shit.
What do you...
Oh, my. Why does everybody gotta have a friend that doesn't believe in dinosaurs on YouTube now? It's like, it's the standard. It is the standard to have a friend that's like, no, dinosaurs aren't real. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? This is great. Okay, there's not really anything in here. Wait, what was that? Oh, it's part of a dinosaur. By the way, guys, if you don't know, I'm actually searching for basically every mystical creature, and I'm posting it weekly. So, I mean, maybe that would be cool if you...
I'm a mystical creature. You're not searching for me, though, because I just instructed my hive to say, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. She's not a real person. I'm AI generated. Do you think someone could be this smart and this snarky at the same time and not be AI generated?
You could like subscribe and then you'll never miss out. We couldn't find the fossilized Chupacabra there, and we still had to wait a little bit longer to meet Dr. Canyon. But in the meantime, I had one final, absolutely genius plan to catch a Chupacabra of my own. This stakeout. We made it to a farm. They have all types of animals here. Basically, the plan here is to catch the Chupacabra or just hungry dog in the act. This is the way we figured it out. If I was a Chupacabra looking for some fresh blood, I would be here personally, and I would be sucking. You might be asking, how are we gonna see it? It's completely dark outside. We got these night vision goggles. All right.
I went like full Jurassic Park. I don't think they're gonna see it though. What do you all think?
I'm just seeing cows. Dude, all the cows are staring at us.
We're here to protect you guys. Shoot.
Here's some of the most popular Texas sightings. In 2014, there was a family who claimed they caught the Chupacabra in a cage, and it turned out to just be a diseased coyote.
Oh my God.
That was not that picture they zoomed in on was not a coyote. That was a raccoon. I'm just saying. Dinosaurs and birds aren't real, brah. Oh, well. Yeah, let's go down that rabbit hole sometime soon.
Dude, that cow has big balls.
Oh,
2 years later, there was another sighting found. It was also just a coyote. All the images seem like just a diseased dog.
Whoa, I see something. What is that?
Dude, that is weird. I see two like glowing white eyes, but I don't see anything. At this point, we had found zero evidence of the Chupacabra from the most popular sightings, but we were now going to be meeting up with someone who
the North American Chupacabra is a diseased dog. I mean, that's what it is.
Apparently has one, who's been on multiple different shows, in newspapers. This was the final chance to prove the Chupacabra could actually be real. All right, it's the next day. We're now going to meet up with Phyllis. I'm about to call my friend Manuel. He always doubts me. Like, literally every video film, he's like, bro's chasing imaginary monsters. Oh man, you know how you're always saying, I'm never gonna find these monsters, they're imaginary? Yep. Well, I got news for you, buddy. We're going to meet up with a lady who has the Chupacabra frozen in her freezer. Basically, I'm going to find Jesus Christ, and you're a non-Christ believer.
Dude, I don't believe that any of these monsters are real.
I'll send you the photo tomorrow, motherfucker!
Yeah.
Looks like we're here. Dude, I'm excited. She might have the real...
So this lady is she's a doctor. She's a psychologist, though. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And a alternative medicine practitioner. So let's keep that in mind. I'm not saying that there's no alternative medicine options that are viable, but alternative medicine is always a red flag for me, because if it's alternative, it's not medicine. But I digress. And she's a nutritionist, which is fine. My friend Nikki's a nutritionist, I believe. You know.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Gavin.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Canyon. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Oh, this is an awesome place you got.
Well, thank you.
So she had some mule deer. She had some whitetail. She has a pronghorn. Looks like a moose, an elk. Yeah, I'm just identifying the taxidermy that she has here. Is that like a bush buck? Looks like there's a zebra upstairs. Oh my. As Ace Ventura said, this is a lovely room of death, but I still do like to try to identify taxidermy.
That's what makes this animal so special, is everybody was like, wow, you know animals. And I'm like, yes, I do know animals.
The perfect person to find it.
And lo and behold, this is it.
This is it. You said you had 29 chickens killed.
Mm-hmm. Chickens were always left laying, but there was no blood in them. All kind of killed in that thorax area and the throat area.
And did you notice?
Oh, she screams, "It's coming right for me!" right before she hits it. Dave, that way. My alternative medicine choice is the Toadies, like Possum Kingdom. The Possum Kingdom song, Toady. Is that the Toadies you're talking about? I love that song. Do you wanna die?
Notice like the 2 teeth marks.
And that's what it was on the chickens that I saw right up in here. So I was driving in the ranch, and we have a very big oak tree. And as I was driving in, I saw something moving, and there was this animal standing there. I was in awe.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody...
It was this animal. It's a canid. I mean, at the very least, you can say there's this canid animal. It could be anything from a squid to a pill bug to a giraffe. I mean, she kind of looks like Andy Warhol. I won't be mean like that, but she got her Christmas decorations up. I'm digging it.
Somebody in the beginning started saying to me, well, it's a chupacabra. Somebody called me and said, oh my God, this animal that you claimed you've seen, somebody hit it with a car in front of your ranch. And so I went and picked it up and brought it back, took it to this place to get it taxidermied. They had to hide it because somebody tried to get into our garage to steal it.
Dr. Canyon clearly had something here, but there were 3...
Why would they try to steal it? I mean, maybe they did. I'd like to add some lore to it. Is it a hairless coyote? We'll find out. Don't worry.
Questions I needed to answer to make sure this thing was actually the Chupacabra, which are, is it just a coyote with mange? One of the very popular theories.
So many people said to me, oh my gosh, Dr. Kenyon, that's a coyote with mange. So we did what are called skin punch biopsies, and we took a sample and it came back negative. It had no mange, but what we don't know is an example, why it's covered in fuzz, but it doesn't have any hair. We don't know why the neck is longer. We don't know why we have all of this excess skin. And then of course the biggest...
Well, that's what canids look like without fur. Even we've looked at pictures of him so far just before, like while he was going through his stings earlier, we looked at him and we're like, yeah, those are just coyotes with mange. So we know that there's excess skin. And I don't think his neck is exceptionally long. I don't see that as a thing here. Now, if she didn't have mange, there's other diseases that it could have, right? Besides mange that causes hairlessness or hair loss, or that caused hair loss and is now regrowing its hair. There's other things that can factor into that. There's other pathologies. It could have an allergy. It could have been born with an allergy to flea bites, and the fleas make it and when it gets fleas, it loses its hair. A lot of things can factor into that, including just stress.
Question that everybody says is, what are these? And that we do not know what they are. While they have separate digits on the top, on the bottom, they're webbed. We have wolf marks, coyote marks. I know what all of those look like. This didn't match any of them.
Does it suck blood? It wouldn't be the Chupacabra if it didn't.
Well, do you think they really suck the blood? And my answer to that is, with what I know as a nutritionist, no. Do they lick the blood? Yes. Maybe this animal has some vitamin and mineral deficiency.
Might have like an iron deficiency. You could take a day trip to visit Carl Baugh. I could go to Carl Baugh's museum and see I could probably take a day trip to the Pulaski trackways too. Yeah. See those footprints in real life. I'd have to be like low key though.
Which is why it craves blood, because any predator that we have in Texas is going to kill the animal and carry it off. Because I lost 29 chickens to this animal.
And what did the DNA results from the labs Actually,
Yeah, sick animals, injured animals tend to target. They tend to target livestock more often, or people, unfortunately.
See. How many labs did you send the DNA to?
Well, we sent it in the beginning to UC Davis in California because that's the largest forensics veterinary facility that we have in the U.S.
Wow, and they didn't even...
And they didn't know what it was. Other universities have done it, the DNA sequencing as well, and it all came back identical.
Wow.
That it is coyote and Mexican wolf. From what we know with the DNA, this is the only one
known canids. Okay.
Ever.
Wow.
And we can't refute the DNA.
When we're doing research about just like the origins when it was like first sighted and named, it was in Puerto Rico, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So do you believe that was the same thing as this?
And I do for a lot of different reasons. One is if you look at all of the pictures of the stories.
Yeah, my window to hang out with Carl Baugh is closing, unfortunately. I didn't know, I think I knew he was still alive. I didn't know he was 88 though. Holy moly.
Their eyes always were red. Now, we know that humans that have blue eyes will show up red. Years ago, we had cameras that had red eye reduction. So these old pictures that showed their eyes to be red because their eyes are so blue. So then the $1 million question is,
did it have maybe some, because I wonder if it didn't have some dog in the DNA too, like a Mexican wolf dog and a coyote, because that might explain weird allergies. It might explain the eye color too.
Is this really a chupacabra? I tell them I think it's a chupacabra. And when you read back from in the 1800s, when the explorers would write about this animal that they would see that was blood-sucking, kind of had the same type of behavior, then I said, well, now maybe we have the DNA on what a chupacabra is. I just think that anything is possible. Loch Ness, the monster, it's the same way. It's like people...
Oh my gosh, that was like the photoshopped with the whale jumping. They put the Loch Ness or the plesiosaur stuff on
claim
it.
that they've seen something, just like with this. When we lived in Africa, there were exploratory companies that would come and put a sheet up at night and put a light on it and attract bugs. And there was always bugs that came that had never been identified before.
Wow.
Maybe this is the same scenario.
I sort of want to.
It just.
There's a lot.
I sort of want to do that out here and see what's up. Yes, mangy dogs, John.
That's just not identified.
That's exactly correct.
Wow.
It's a tremendous mystery. I'm happy to have it. There are so many people that are so interested in the legend of the Chupacabra.
No joke, this is the best day of my life. I'm not even lying right now. She literally made it very logical. She made it very explainable. What she had in there, no one else has in the world. She actually like changed my mind of thinking. Like these creatures, they might not be these crazy mystical creatures that we think they are. They might just be like some odd hybrid or some species that hasn't been found. Yeah, short.
Yeah. It's just according to the DNA test, wolf coyote hybrid with some kind of skin affliction. So there you have it.
The Chupacabra, is it real? Yes. Yes, she has it in there. I can say this confidently. This is no longer a...
All right, so that was the first video, right? And this was from 11 months ago. So basically like last year at Christmas time. They did a follow-up video.
This is what we think is the real Chupacabra. And I'm gonna
just a couple months ago, they did a follow-up video. So let's see if there's been any changes or updates.
Try to find one. In case you don't know what a Chupacabra is, it was thought to be a mythical dog-like creature that would suck the blood out of goats just like a vampire. It sounds completely fake, but all of a sudden, a lot of people in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Texas noticed this happening to their animals. One of those people happened to be Dr. Canyon, who ended up coming across one of these creatures deceased. And before I explain to you how I am gonna catch one on camera for myself, here's Dr. Canyon explaining why she believes this, in fact, is the real Chupacabra.
Let me point out to you all of these things on this animal that make it different than any other animal. One of the things that we point out is that you can see the animal is covered in fuzz. It just does not have any hair. This head is very broad across here, like a wolf, yet the snout is very small like a coyote, which makes sense why the DNA says that on the maternal side it's Mexican wolf and on the paternal side it's coyote. This is the DNA on all of the animals that we know as domestic dogs, as the fox, and as the coyote. The Chupacabra doesn't match any of these lines. I was shocked at how many people said to me, that is a fox. I'm like, it's twice the size of a...
It's definitely not a fox. It's definitely not a fox. Way too big. I am on board with the coyote wolf hybrid. The fur that she's talking about is just the undercoat. The outer coat's gone, and there's a thin layer of the undercoat. I'm busily prepping for 2 shows today, as well as getting all the chores for the week done all at the same time, but alive. Well, you are a busy lady. I will have you know that I am also prepping for 2 shows today, and I will be on the show with Ember. Well, I'm not prepping for this one anymore. I'm here. I'm live. I'm doing 2 shows today, though. 2. Well, probably... I may change my look. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of different looks lately. If you like different looks, stick around. I got a ton of them. Maya's here.
A fox. Yeah, I think a lot of people on the internet just don't know.
The neck is about an inch longer than it would be on a coyote or a wolf. Generally, a wolf and a coyote have very broad front shoulders. This one has narrow all the way back. These footprints are very different on this animal. These are attached. When you look at the print of it, it's one pad.
And on like a wolf or a coyote, you would distinguishably be able to see the difference.
Each digit, that is correct. And it would be no different than if I laid mine in sand, right?
So I remember we talked last time.
So it has webbed toes is another reason why I was considering that it might have some dog ancestry. Like, there's a few dogs with webbed feet, but the ones that come to mind are the water dogs, which is where we get things like the Labrador Retriever now, which still has webbed feet. But they come from like the Labrador water dogs. Now, as far as species of wolves with webbed feet, I don't know of any, but there were endemic species of wolves that lived in or subspecies, I should say, of wolves that lived in the swamps in the south, like the Florida black wolf that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and the red wolves live in that area, and they may have more webbed paws.
About the whole consuming blood thing of it. You believe it was possibly a deficiency it had?
I still think that. I am a doctor of naturopathic medicine, and anytime I see somebody, let's just say as an example, that has a disorder called pica, where they crave anything non-nutrition. They want dirt, they want chalk, they want paper. So in the beginning, when this thing was...
That's a rough disease to deal with, yeah.
...coming up and killing my chickens, but leaving them, that's when I told some of the doctors at the clinic where I was at the time, I think it has a deficiency and it just craves blood.
Now that we knew this very much was the real Chupacabra, it was time to figure out how I could catch one on video.
How often do you hear about people seeing them, or you yourself see them?
I get calls and texts and photos from people every week of somebody saying, oh my gosh, I think I saw a Chupacabra, what do you think? I always send them my picture and say, does it look like...
Because they're coyotes, these coyotes.
this. And once I send them my picture, they'll say, oh yeah, no, it did not look like that at all. Plus the people that have actually come across one, the bodies were so decayed that it was really hard to tell anything.
So you said the most recent one you saw was around 2 months ago?
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the problem, is that people will see the gum lines recede on roadkill and things like that and say, oh, it's got vampire teeth. About $40 more than wrangling 4 times the durability, fit, and comfort. Yeah. Sadly, we're in uniform at the driving. Okay, y'all talking about Ember's work. Yeah, talking about drivers. So we got drivers in here. Yes, Ember and Al are both drivers.
What percentage chance do you think we have of catching one on video?
Of catching it on video? Probably a pretty good chance.
With that, I believed we could make groundbreaking history, catching a mythical creature for the first time in 4K, something that's never been done before. So we started with the first step in the plan, which was Dr. Canyon showing us exactly where she has seen them before. What we're in right now is the Chupacabra
This
pasture.
is what we call the Chupacabra pasture. So I'm driving in, and right on the right side of the tree.
Just go rolling around there in your vehicle in the Chupacabra pasture in the middle of the day and hope to see one?
This animal stood up out of the grass, and he's just standing there. So I get to about right here, and just on this side of that tall green grass there, that's where he was standing. He had that hump in the back, and he was looking at me. So I got out, and I walked around the front of the car, and he still stood there. It was a coyote, a wolf, anything. He started trotting off.
Nice sound effects. This is from 2008 footage. He started trotting off. What is this any different than what a coyote or a wolf would do?
And he trotted between the house and the shop, and I watched him through the pasture back into that wooded area that we call the Chupacabra pasture.
Have you ever tried setting out like a bowl of like chicken blood? Oh, you tried that?
But the problem is they don't want the chicken in the blood. They only want it warm. I mean, you could kill an animal and drain the blood out of it and put it in a bowl.
Why not just put the blood on a hot plate? Yo. Get yourself an extension cord and run it out there, or even a little battery packed or battery powered hot plate. Say warm blood for the Chupacabra. We got hammered. Oh, Dave, we got hammered here with snow, but it's been mild, lowest temp, -17 locally. That's 2 in Freedom Heat. Yes, Ember's crunching the numbers for us. Thank you, doll. Duluth makes bib overalls for you specifically. I recommend you get some.
But it wants it fresh. It's smart, I'm telling you. There's a cage that I had set up that we put live chickens in the end of it, hoping to lure one in. Too smart. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not gonna happen.
After showing us a few different spots, she showed us where they show up the most often. The tank, aka just a lake where they would come to drink water, like every animal has to.
This is a great place to do it. Those trees over there is a great place to do it.
So this is where the tracks could be.
Yes, and again, because the water is so high.
They're probably pretty hard to notice, I feel like, because they don't have the distinct pads, right?
They stand out.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Absolutely. This is a better area because this is where they can actually go to get
down
into
and get it.
So this area definitely.
Okay, we will set something up here. Now that we know exactly where these Chupacabra would have to come, we set up a little home base that we were gonna.
So, I don't feel like it's a resident population, right? Like there's a population of Chupacabras that live in this pasture. I just don't believe that maybe this was one vagrant individual. Matter of fact, the notion that it has that it has Mexican wolf ancestry makes me feel like it's a vagrant. Just like the only grizzly bear that we talked about a couple weeks back, the only grizzly bear that ever lived in, or that was ever shot in Texas, was a Mexican grizzly, an old Mexican grizzly.
Stake out at to try to catch one of these Chupacabra on camera. Now we are back. We're in the wild. We are looking for the elusive Chupacabra. We need to master the art of silence and the art of patience and the art of watching.
It's so funny. People that from the city will go out and they'll be sit in a cow field and they'll be like, "I'm in the country. I'm in the wild." It's like you're in a cow pasture.
Stalking almost.
You heard that?
Yeah, there's a cow.
Cow getting sucked?
No.
What noise do you think the Chupacabra makes?
I'd imagine some sort of howl. That sounds like...
Is that not
Oh shit. This video just got did we just get demonetized?
The Chupacabra?
Should I be dropping my adult links now?
Chupacabra?
Dude, we gotta find the Chupacabra.
The Chupacabra?
He's up there flying around.
Dude, the cows are staring at us.
She said if cows come near us, then the other animals will. If we try to get the cows to come near us, they're not gonna come near us. Don't chase, attract.
Hour 1 we didn't see much, but some of the other animals were slowly getting closer to us, which Dr. Canyon said meant they were getting more comfortable with us, which is what we wanted, for the Chupacabra to come more near us.
I made a whole nother Chupacabra.
I don't think that because cows are comfortable, like a domestic animal are close to you, that means that wildlife will also want to be close to you. I just don't think that pans out.
We were trying to figure out if it's real, and it led us here. We went over more of the origin story, and it's pretty crazy. Like, a lot of people have just found their animals drained of blood, and it's like nothing does that, except this one type of bat. It's kind of cool. It's like we're looking for her. I never played Pokemon, but I played like a rip-off version with dinosaurs. And it's like, it feels like we're playing that, like we're looking for the rarest one. Oh.
You're like hunting.
Oh, you see the dust? That's disgusting. That's not even like dust. That's like your dead skin cells. Morrowind nature.
Oh, gross. Yeah, what are we doing here? Are you all hunting Chupacabra or talking about each other's feet?
Nah. Alright, we've become a little too desperate. Now we're just looking. Which I don't know if is a viable strategy.
So I hear one of the cows over here yelling and making a weird noise. So I'm gonna go check it out, see if the cow's over here getting sucked.
Doesn't the Chupacabra come at night? What do you guys think? It's the middle of the day. Do they come at night? They dress up in chicken costumes at some point, but we're gonna... Do they use a chicken as a lure? What's going on here? Here we go.
Chupacabra should come over, start licking the chicken liver, and that's when we pounce on it. And we start stumping it out.
We won't be here, actually.
Okay, guys, just to give you some information on why we're putting it over here. So this is where the...
Do not pounce on wildlife at a feeding station. That's not a good idea.
That Dr. Canyon saw the very first Chupacabra.
Chicken yet. This is probably gonna smell terrible.
Was he checking out his ass?
Pretty far from the camera.
Remember, kids, this is what your lungs or your kidneys look like if you drink too much. Oh, it's gonna smell so bad.
Oh, I'm gonna gag.
Yeah. That's like fishing bait.
All right, let's leave it be. Bye, GoPro. We basically just left the GoPro there the entire day, and we came back later that night.
All right. Did they get some pictures?
Many hours back. It's 9 p.m. I think we set the camera there around 11 a.m. Is the liver still gonna be there? What do you think?
I think the liver is gonna be there. The camera's gonna be gone.
I think the liver's gonna be gone. We're gonna look at the camera, Liver King. He ran up and ate all our liver. If somebody saw us at night or in the day, it's like, oh, it's just some funny dudes in chicken costumes. Someone sees us now, I feel like they're gonna think we're part of some cult. All right, this is the grand reveal. I'm actually kind of scared. Let's go.
Yeah, like out wandering around the night in chicken costumes down the side of the highway. That's a good way to get shot in Texas, my friend.
Camera still there. Big W. Wait, do you see it?
No.
No way. Wait, no way. All of it's gone. Wait, that's kind of crazy. I don't even see like one little liver.
A vulture came and got it.
I hope.
Guarantee it. A vulture.
This SD card, this little SD card could prove the Chupacabra. So we're gonna
it's gonna be a vulture.
And we're gonna put that in my computer. Okay, lots of videos here. I can't even see where I put the damn liver. Right there. Not in the first video. Not.
Oh.
I didn't know the Chupacabra could fly. Damn it. Wait, maybe he left some though. Let's see how hungry bro was. Okay, he just ate one whole one. Oh my gosh. No!
Yeah, he's gonna finish it. He's not gonna.
At the camera too.
What did you expect?
I thought that.
Who do you see eating roadkill the most? Especially if you do it during the day.
Plan was genius.
I think it would have worked if that fat ass bird didn't come.
This day marks a day, a war against all birds. If it weren't for that damn fat ass bird, we would have proof of a mythical creature. Today marks the day that we, Groovy Gavin, and cameraman Ethan go to war against all birds. Every time I see a bird, it's on sight. Okay, to wrap things up, we talked a little bit more to Dr. Canyon and her husband. Apparently, it was either Discovery or National Geographic. They set up 20 plus cameras for over a year on the property. Do you want to know how many pictures they got of the Chupacabra? How many pictures did you say they had?
They had over 25,000 pictures.
Jeez. And out of all of those pictures, they got like the back two legs of one on camera, and that's it. So I'm really
How do they know it was?
Get a picture, but help me get.
Let me see the back two legs picture, my friend. I don't believe you.
Get to 2 million subscribers. I'm gonna collab with Sam and Colby, the biggest paranormal YouTubers ever. I'm working on a banger of a series for Halloween, 3-part video series.
Okay.
Go follow my Instagram.
I'm not gonna plug in, but if you're interested in this channel, it's Groovy Gavin, 1.42 million subscribers, right? But there's some goofy stuff, but they did go into the details of the lore on the Chupacabra. I don't know. I didn't really. I was giving this a chance. I didn't really like the format, though, honestly. They try really hard. Obviously, they have a better following than I do. 1.42 million compared to, what do I got, like 1.12K or something like that. So, obviously, they're doing something better than me. But regardless, their antics regarding the Chupacabra and the folklore. The main reason I focused on this was because it had they actually went to Dr. Canyon's place and saw it and stuff, and I hadn't seen that before, which was great. So I'm glad they did that, and I could bring that to you guys, even though we had to put up with, chicken suits and stuff. But hopefully it's not too much to deal with. Now, next week, right? I can do the thylacine. Do you guys want the thylacine next week? Yeah, I didn't even get into anal sac disease. They make a big deal about the Chupacabra having those lumps on its butt, and it looks like anal sac disease to me. I'm not a veterinarian, but that's kind of what it looks like, which is, I don't say it's doggy hemorrhoids, but it's like a similar condition. Actually, let me pull up a picture of it so you can see. Because that Dr. Cannon made such a big deal about it being having those, but it's just, anal sac disease. Sad. All right. Well, so that covers Cryptic Corner for us today. Do you believe in the Chupacabra? Oh goodness. Yeah, why the shaky cam if they got high quality GoPros? I don't know. Do you believe in the Chupacabra? What do you think it is? I think it's just a coyote with diseases, maybe a dog with diseases, a wolf, a raccoon, a bear, a fox, something along those lines. And people still think that it's a mythical creature. Yeah, I may cover the thylacine next week if I can get enough stuff scraped together. Otherwise, we'll probably we are due. I need to do for the holiday season. I wanted to do at least some point do the abominable snowman, the Yeti. So we will hit that up because Rudolph folklore and all that good stuff. L.A. Marzulli says shaky cams are a red flag for fakes. Well, L.A. Marzulli says it, and that's he's the guy who discovered the Nephilim. Yeah. All right, so please remember to be kind, take care. We'll see you next time. All right, now if you're watching this live from the Hive, do not leave. What the hell? Don't leave. I'm just getting started. We've been going only an hour, and this is like the show sometimes goes up to 3 hours. So depending on how deep of a dive we want to take into the world of mysteries. But yeah, up next we're gonna get really weird with it because there's people claiming that there were Polynesians or Pterofuegans, Pterodofuegans, I think is the way you say it, that visited Antarctica. So we'll figure that out in just a minute. But I'm gonna take a quick intermission, refill my drink, and I will be back with you momentarily. Right. Hello. Can you hear me all right? Welcome, one and all. This is a segment of the show where I get into some weird theories and we just kind of dive into it and see what the story is behind it. But this, we're not going to start with a video. We're going to actually start with some articles and stuff. So stick with me and we will unpack this. Let's see. Terra del Fuegan or Fuegonians. Bucket list for me is fishing Terra del Fuego for trout. Yeah, that's cool. So I'm gonna just jump right into this. Let me see. Where are we? Come on now. Because last week we did ley lines, and I put this one off, and now we have to go back to Antarctica because apparently, throughout modern times, there's been certain claims that native peoples from Terra del Fuego or Polynesian people from various locations visited Antarctica Antarctica was officially discovered in 1820, so fairly recently. And you'll see that, like, even this is on the Antarctica expedition log website called thecoldestjourney.org. And it starts with a circa 650, the 7th century Maori navigator Uiti Rengora claimed to have sighted southern ice fields. So we are going to dive into that. And then the next mention of anything is Magellan in 1522. So there's almost 1,000 years between that. And you get James Cook talking about the ice, but 1820 is when we actually get official sightings of the landmass of Antarctica. Now, there's Polynesian folklore that we just talked about, but Polynesians have really explored quite a bit of the South Pacific and sub-Antarctic waters. There's a few islands. Macquarie Island is one that pops out, but we'll get to that later on in the segment. A new study shows that Enderby Island, 500 kilometers south of New Zealand, was settled by Polynesians for about 70 years. According to the author of the study, it also disproves the widespread belief that Polynesians ever went to Antarctica. In the popular imagination, Polynesian culture is unlike any other. It is a people of explorers, a people who conquered the Pacific Ocean long before anyone else, a people who, in their outrigger canoes, would fiercely go on long voyages into the unknown. But also, in the popular imagination, it is a people who dressed lightly and appropriately for a typical tropical island that they inhabited. To many, it will therefore come as a surprise that a new study documented that around 1300 AD, a group of Polynesians settled for up to 100 years on the remote Enderby Island, part of the Auckland Island archipelago. It lies around 500 kilometers south of New Zealand and about 2,000 kilometers north of Antarctica, so about halfway between New Zealand and Antarctica. It is located right in the middle of the latitude region known as the Roaring Forties and is considered a sub-Antarctic island. Not the idea for the scantily clad, or not the ideal place for the scantily clad Polynesians, one would imagine. And according to Ethel Anderson, professor emeritus at the Australian National University and main author of the study, the cold would indeed have been the main problem for these Polynesians. It would have been very difficult for them. Oddly enough, Polynesians in the cool climate of southern New Zealand made no clothing such as trousers or jackets, nor footwear or hats. They wore kilts and capes, either woven or made out of seal skin, but they must often have been very cold. Yeah, imagine it'd be cold living on that frigid island. Strife made them come, food made them stay. Why did these people choose to not only migrate that far south, but to stay for so long? Well, the Enderby Island's lack of warmth and comfort is made up for in food supply. Enderby is about 500 kilometers, or sorry, not 500, about 5 kilometers long and mostly shrub covered. while the much larger and higher Auckland Islands just to the south is grassy. But from the shore to about 70 meters. I'm all over the place today, Hive. Somebody wake me up. No capes. Are you going full Edna mode on us, Logan Fisher? Antarctica is the pot of gold at the end of the firmament. That's sort of true in a way, Logan. How do they get over the ice wall? 6 days until the final experiment? Oh my gosh. Okay, where was I? Yeah, I just need to take a break from reading for a second to let my brain catch up with my mouth. About 70 meters above sea level, both islands have thick and tangled forest. Between these wild sheared trees and on the sand dunes of Enderby, the Polynesians found an abundant food source: sea lions who come to breed. Moreover, the Auckland Islands are home to big cabbage-like plants known as the Macquarie Island cabbage. This, along with seals, fish, and chicks of albatrosses and other seabirds, made for a rich and plentiful diet. The feasting on these foods is also the main trace left of the settlers. Along a 500-meter stretch of beach on Enderby Island, numerous Polynesian cooking ovens and leftover charcoals were found. And in one area of the beach, there was a midden full of seal bones, albatross bones, and a lot of other bones, many with cut marks from butchery. You would think that once they got so far south and experienced the cold, they would just turn around and go back north. But they were from a culture that was used to settling new islands, so they probably thought that they would at least give it a chance, Ethel Anderson said. I suppose they got there and realized that there was no problem with food resources, so from that perspective, things were fine. They may even have explored other islands in the area after they settled, he said. But while the ample food supply was the carrot that made them stay, the Polynesians may have been under the influence of the whip. Often Polynesians went somewhere new because the strife with other groups. So they may have left under those circumstances and then felt they couldn't go back. He said, yes, this might have been like a refugee camp. But there's the sea lions and the tangled forest and some of the veg that they have to choose from. The Antarctic journey of, I hope I'm saying this right, UET Rangora. Ethel Anderson is now retired, but while he was active, his career as an archaeologist took him far and wide, from Madagascar across the Indian Ocean, through Melanesia, Polynesia, and all the way to the Galapagos Islands. He studied remote island societies. Originally, though, he is from the south of New Zealand, and some of his ancestors were from the Polynesian group that first settled in New Zealand, the Maori. For him, therefore, this study was unusually important, and not only for geographic reasons. In the study, he argues against the widely held beliefs that Polynesian explorers went as far south as Antarctica itself. This belief spread, according to Ethel Anderson, because of a traditional Polynesian story recorded by British ethnographer Percy Smith in the 19th century. It has been argued that the Maori got as far south as Antarctica and even walked on the ice, but I have never thought that this was at all probable. I am part Maori myself. In our tribe, Nagai Tahu, which is the southernmost Maori tribe, we don't have any such traditions, which we probably would have had if we had actually done it, he said. The traditions recorded by Percy Smith speak of the legendary Polynesian explorer Uiti Rengora, who on his travels is supposed to have seen both ice floes and large sea mammals. But since then, Ethel Anderson said, it has been discovered that the tradition is not an original ancient one, but one that had been added to Maori folklore at a later date. It is believed to have come from Polynesians who sailed on European sealing and whaling vessels to visit the Antarctic in the early 19th century. There's no evidence that these stories have any ancient origins, but the only way to resolve the question is through archaeological evidence. All right, and instead of reading more onto this, well, yeah, they left because of climate change and so forth, but that's not what I wanted. Here we go. Tales of the Old World. Hold on, pal. I can't get my sound going. I'm telling him to hold on, and it's my fault. But there we go.
Antarctica, due to its harsh climate, is the most difficult place on Earth to perform archaeological research. The research bases and expeditions have only uncovered a tiny percentage of the continent. If there are artifacts or ruins to be found, they're covered in thick layers of snow and permafrost, waiting for us to discover them. The closest people to Antarctica in the ancient world would have been the natives living in Australia and New Zealand, and the islands around the Pacific like the Cook Islands and the Tonga Islands. When we look at the oral histories in these areas, we find stories of ocean travelers making it to cold waters, where they saw huge land masses and mountains covered in snow, and icebergs in the water. But could it really be possible for a civilization who didn't even possess the use of metallurgy to successfully make a 4,000-mile journey?
I do want to say that if, they're living in New Zealand, on the South Island of New Zealand and in Derby Island and stuff, they would have seen icebergs. Icebergs do drift into those waters. You can see icebergs off the South Island in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure. I looked into it and said, yeah, that this is a site that people see, and especially during that period that they call the Little Ice Age. But, well, I guess maybe that wouldn't affect the southern oceans. Maybe they had a little ice age of their own. Be interesting to look into that.
Across open water to reach a continent with little to no resources. This oral history of the Maori journey to Antarctica was recorded in 1904 by New Zealand ethnologist and surveyor Stevenson Percy Smith in his book Hawaii, the original home of the Maori. He writes, "Of the other islands of the Pacific which were first settled at this time, we have so little information as to their histories that nothing can be stated with certainty, and that the Marquesas received accessions to the population, if they were not for the first time then occupied, which I think is probable. We have seen from a former page that at 40 generations ago, or in 850, the Tahitian groups had people living on them, and most likely were colonized at about this period. All of the voyages indicated above, and others to be referred to on later, may cause surprise at their extent, but they were made in the tropical regions of the world, with numerous islands on the way, at which the voyagers could rest and replenish their stores. But I now come to one made by this daring navigator, Uite Rangora, in his celebrated canoe, which outshines all others, and shows him to have been a man worthy of taking his place amongst many of our own fearless navigators of ages long subsequent to the 7th century.
Now, those old outrigger canoes are so cool. Like, could you imagine being, like, out on sea in one of those? They don't have, like, necessarily what you would... They're basically ships, so right, but they're built on like a platform over two big long canoes. It's really neat with sails on them. And that platform, there can be like little huts built. And they can have cooking area and everything.
In the history of Te Aru Tonga Nuku, who in this time was also a great voyager, we find the following. The desire of Te Aru Tonga Nuku and all his people on the completion of the canoe was to behold all the wonderful things seen by those of the vessel in former times. These were those wonderful things, the rocks that grow out of the sea, in the space, beyond Rapa. In this context, the word space is defined the same way we would define it today. The monstrous seas.
Beyond Rapa, like, isn't Rapa mean island? Beyond islands? So, I mean, they could be talking about continents. I'm not sure. But, yeah.
Female that dwells in those mountainous waves, whose tresses wave about in the waters and on the surface of the sea, and the frozen sea of Pia, with the deceitful animal of that sea who dives to great depths, a foggy, misty, and dark place not seen by the sun. Other things are like rocks, whose summits pierce the skies. They are completely bare, and without any vegetation on them. The above is as literal a translation as I can make, and the meaning is quite clear, that the bare rocks that grow out of the frozen sea are the icebergs of the Antarctic. The tresses that float on the monstrous waves are the long leaves of the bull kelp, over 50 feet long, quite a new feature to the people who dwelt in the tropics, where there is nothing of the kind.
But there's plenty of bull kelp around New Zealand. There's bull kelp around. So bull kelp is a sub-Antarctic type of kelp, but it doesn't. It does grow in some areas of temperate water as long as they have the right currents, which New Zealand does. As far as the Tongas and stuff, they may be too far north, but at least New Zealanders would have been familiar with bull kelp.
The deceitful animal that dives so deep is the walrus, or sea lion, or sea elephant. The frozen ocean is expressed by the term for arrowroot, which when scraped is...
So why would it be a walrus? Walruses live in the North Atlantic and North Pacific. Walruses don't live in Antarctica. And something that dives so deep, why would it not be a whale? Why would it be a pinniped at all?
Is exactly like snow, to which this simple people compared it as the only or best simile known to them. Now, the Antarctic ice is to be found south of Rapa in about latitude 50 in the summertime, and consequently, both Wee Te Rangora and Te Aru Tonga Nuku, at different times, 250 years apart, must have gone to those high latitudes, as the story says, to see the wonders of the ocean.
Well, again, icebergs drift up from Antarctica into the South Pacific, that does happen. And the bull kelp it will also grow in the South Pacific, where these people could have seen it without going to Antarctica.
Since the above account of these Antarctic voyages was written in 1897, I have come across a further confirmation of the story. When relating my visit to eastern Polynesia, to the Maoris of the Ngāraru tribe, west coast New Zealand, I was asked if I had also visited the part of the ocean where the traditions state that the seas run mountains high, coming along in 3 great waves at a time, and where dwelt the monster, the Marakio. Now, the Marakio is a well-known figure depicted on ancient Maori carvings, and the origin of which has much exercised our ethnologists. It has the body and face of a man, but the lower half is a fish's body and tail. In fact, it is just like the merman, but it has, in addition, 2 long tusks coming out of the mouth, which the Maoris call ngongo, or tubes. These are as long as from the mouth to the waist of the figure. To my mind, this is the Maori representation of the walrus, or sea elephant.
Is that why we're talking about the walrus? Okay.
Which they could see only in high latitudes. The old man who questioned me on the subject clearly...
Hear me out. Have you ever seen a whale skeleton laying on a beach? Just bear with me, because they look like they have big giant tusks, because the baleen whale has the 2 long lower jaw bones that stick out, and they look like big old tusk. Oh my gosh, let me see if I can find one. Beached whale bones. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, we're going to pull them over just a second. I'm going to get it to you. So like seeing something. Well, that's not even a real whale. What are you talking about? Something like this sticking up out of the ground, right? Seeing, get the big ribs. There we go. That's kind of what I'm talking about. It looks like it has big tusk. Yeah, and they'd have folklore about it, right? You find out on the beach. Food for thought.
Clearly had it in his mind that the Maroochydore dwelt in that mysterious part of the world from whence their ancestors came to New Zealand. It would seem that this confirms the Rarotongan story. The Tongans have also some tradition of the ice-covered ocean, which they call Tai Fatu.
Rapa Nui has never been covered in snow in our time, within the Holocene that I'm aware of.
Which means the thick, fat-like, or congealed ocean, and to which some of their ancestors had been in long ages ago. This I learned from Reverend J.E. Moulton, the best living authority on Tongan traditions, who after this will deny to the Polynesians the honor that is their due as skillful and daring navigators. Here we find them boldly pushing out into the great unknown ocean in their frail canoes, actuated by the same love of adventure and discovery that characterized...
I just don't believe their canoes were as frail as we seem to make them out to be. They were making big journeys in those things.
...our own race. Long before our ancestors had learnt to adventure out of sight of land, these bold sailors had explored the Antarctic seas and traversed the Pacific Ocean from end to end. Considering the means at their command, their lightly built canoes, the difficulty of provisioning the crew, the absence of any instruments to guide them, I feel justified in claiming for these bold navigators as high a place in the honor roll as many of our own distinguished Arctic and Antarctic explorers.
Well,
many people have doubted the ability of the Polynesians to make the lengthy voyages implied in finding the race in places so widely separated as Hawaii, Easter Island.
See, and that's the thing too, is they knew that there were peoples that lived in Arctic waters and survived and thrived and were able to navigate them in canoes and small boats and things like that, and even travel on ice floes and things. We knew that because there were people like that in Russia, and there were people like that in North America, Greenland. People live in that lifestyle, so they act like, the Polynesians just couldn't do that. Sure, they could have. I don't think they did, but they could have. I mean, they had there's no reason to think that this group of humans would not be able to innovate how to survive on seal skins and things like that. Yeah, just...
New Zealand and the Northwest Pacific south of the line. But we cannot doubt the very definite statements made in their own traditions. The love of adventure, of moving about from place to place, which is so characteristic of the race even in these days, has always been a feature in their lives. More often than not, they made these adventurous voyages with the definite object of establishing new colonies in which to settle, taking with them their domesticated animals, seeds, plants, and families. It has already been pointed out the effect the vast number of islands in Indonesia must have had on the people in increasing their power of navigation. In passing onward by the New Guinea...
Yeah, we don't have any evidence, though. Keep that in mind. We don't have any evidence that people ever, visiting... Folklore, unfortunately, is not... It's not the most effective way of storytelling. Now, folklore can come to present, to be retroactively said, hey, I think this is the thing. Hey, Aunt because like you think about like Vikings coming to North America, oh, that's folklore, right? And it's just the saga of the Greenlanders is all folklore, and then they find La Crosse Meadow in, is it Newfoundland or Labrador? I think it's in Newfoundland. It's in Newfoundland. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Newfoundland. Newfoundland. What is Newfoundland, Alex? For 500, please. Yeah, I think it's Newfoundland. But yeah, we found the settlement, and it's like, oh well, it's not folklore anymore. So that's true. That's a thing. And there's also like the folklore about the cities in the middle of the jungle, the rainforest in the Amazon. These beautiful cities, these vast, beautiful cities in the Amazon, right? And by the time hundreds of years have gone by, and then by the time that that explorers are able to cut their way into that part of the world, those kingdoms have fallen to the diseases that preceded actual interaction with with the white people, with the Europeans, had already wiped out these jungle kingdoms, these cities in the rainforest, and for a long time was like, oh, it's got to be folklore, right? There's no real lost kingdoms. But now we've got the satellite imaging and stuff, and we can see the foundations of these cities. It does not take long for the rainforest to take back what was once its. But when it comes to places like Antarctica or Greenland, the cool thing is that it's cool there and it preserves stuff. There's no jungle to swallow it back up. Best case scenario is it's preserved in a block of ice, so you get even like soft tissues and stuff preserved.
Solomons to the Fiji group, the idea must have forced itself into the minds of the people that the whole eastern world was covered with islands, and that they had only to move onward into the unknown to find more lands on which to settle. Actuated by this ruling idea, they undertook long voyages in the assured belief of finding land.
I don't think it was an assured belief. I think they had a complex system of watching birds and sea mammals and weather patterns and currents, and were able to chart around about where islands should be based on those factors, and then they used the stars and the sun to navigate by to get to them and make sure that they were going in the right directions and things like that. The Polynesians weren't cavemen. Good grief.
This story, relayed to us in 1904, is held as truth by locals in New Zealand and the Cook Islands, but modern historians dismiss it as fiction. Could this journey even have been possible? It would have taken several months to reach the mainland Antarctica, and there would be few resources for them when they got there. The weather would be harsh, and the seas dangerous and unfamiliar. But the Maori were expert seafarers. Their knowledge.
The thing about the resources, I don't know if I agree with that. Like we just looked at that they could have the winds on Enderby Island anyway were able to thrive on seals and seabirds, probably penguins, and different wild cabbages and stuff like that. They may in Antarctica, obviously, they'd have more trouble with vegetation, but you know what? Maybe not now, because the flowers are blooming in Antarctica. And I don't want you to get too excited about that. I want you to think it through. The flowers are blooming in Antarctica. This is not good news for us humans.
Navigation was 1,000 years ahead of its time. They would use the stars as markers. The Maori star compass divided the 360 degrees around the canoe in the open ocean into different houses. The location of these houses depended on where the sun, moon, and stars set and rise. The navigator would attempt to keep the canoe on a course relative to these observations. They knew how the patterns of the sun and moon changed with the seasons, and would closely observe patterns in tides, waves, and sea creatures to determine where land was.
Okay.
They had successfully found tiny...
I got ahead of myself and didn't mean to be throwing shade at you, babe. If you cover this, then I'll recant what I just said.
Landmasses like Easter Island, Hawaii, and the Samoan Islands, and other remote lands in the middle of the vast Pacific using these techniques. They had an understanding of the planet that reached beyond navigation. They knew exactly how the Earth moved and worked in relation to the stars. So if they did embark on a journey...
Well, it's a species of cabbage called the Macquarie Island cabbage. The Macquarie Island is actually even further south than... oh, goodness. Here. Yeah, before we get too far... we have more map. I'm the map. All right, so... We're not in Texas anymore. We are in the South Pacific. And we are looking at the very, very South Pacific. Why are you so blurry, though? Okay, there we go. Okay, so here, this is the Auckland Islands, right? Campbell Island. But if you follow this down... I think is this Enderby? No. Okay. Anyway, if you follow this ridge down from New Zealand, Macquarie Island, I believe, is on this ridge. And they found... Why are you not pulling my islands up? There we go. There's Macquarie Island. Macquarie Island cabbage is from this place, and as you can see, it's pretty dang close to Antarctica. And they did, when they discovered this island, well, I think he actually talks about it, so we'll get back to his real quick.
To find Antarctica, they would have known exactly where they were going and what they were going to find. This was no sail off into the unknown type of situation. And it's very possible that even earlier explorers could have made this journey to go off of. When traveling from islands in the Asian Pacific over to the Americas and Hawaii, Easter Island, etc., they would have had to spend upwards of 60 days on board a ship with very few islands to stop and refuel at. They did this by making sure they had enough preserved foods like starchy flour, and they would pair that with fish from the water beneath them. Their drinking water sources came from a variety of methods. They would bring fruits high in water content like coconuts, stop at islands they knew had fresh water, or they would create a seep well on an island. But on extremely long journeys that they frequently
That's how a lot of people who get stranded on islands are able to survive, by creating a seep well like that. There was a group of people that lived on an island in the Indian Ocean that were stranded and using a seep well. It's somewhere near the Seychelles. Yeah.
Had to make to reach these faraway landmasses. They had another advanced technique to collect water. They created a makeshift still to collect moisture from the air and turn it into fresh water. They would cover a container or depression in the canoe with a tarp or leaves and place a weighted object in the center to create a slope. The condensation would then gather in a low point and could be collected as fresh water to sustain them. These boats they were sailing in were also not the tiny canoes we usually associate with the Polynesians. At one time in their history, they had massive ships that reached dimensions of 50 to 100 feet. They were double-hulled with a huge sail and a raft-like platform, able to...
Yeah, the only thing stopping the Polynesians is they ran out of trees. They were going places.
To accommodate many sailors. These large vessels fell out of use, and the technology to build them was eventually lost. So they could have incorporated other advanced techniques of travel that we still just don't know about. But what about artifacts? Surely if they reached Antarctica, they would have touched down on land to search for resources, hunt, and survey the land. If they left the tiniest artifact on the continent, it would prove humans have known about the icy world over 1,000 years before European explorers found it. As of today, there have been no ancient artifacts found in Antarctica that we know of.
Well, that's not exactly true.
But there have been on islands nearby. Archaeologists have found Maori pot shards on the Antipodes Islands, off the southernmost tip of New Zealand. and on the Derby Island, which is considerably south of the Antipodes. These pottery shards date back to the 13th or 14th century. And mysteriously, on the sub-Antarctic island of Macquarie, a craft...
This is what I was talking about, right here in Macquarie Island.
Quote, ancient design was found in 1810. This is considerably south and west of the Auckland Islands, only 560 miles from mainland Antarctica. It has been suggested that the craft was burnt for fuel that year in the ensuing penguin and seal oil fires, and that it was possibly a Polynesian vessel. I believe this remote island in the sub-Antarctic could very well be a refuel point, or even a settlement for these ancient Polynesian travelers spoken of in the Maori oral histories.
But what would they... Okay, I would say, this could be the furthest reaches, right, that the Polynesians ever reached on Macquarie Island. I'm okay with that, but to claim that this was a refuel station for them to go further, you're going to need some evidence to back that up, friend. You're going to need something more than just this assurance that, oh yeah, this was just a way station.
An archaeological study on this island could very well turn up groundbreaking discoveries.
Alright, let's go back.
All I have for you on this topic for now. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and please leave a comment with your thoughts.
Alright, so before we get into the next segment of this, because there's a whole other section of this I got to talk about, but I want to go back to the map real quick and look at Macquarie Island, because there's not much. This is where they keep showing in those pictures, is that right there. But if they did settle here, this still would not be the southernmost settlement of pre-European people, because if we journey far, far, far across the Pacific, we reach this southern tip of South America, Terra del Fuego, with the Terra del Fuegans. Now, for a long time, they're like, oh, these people didn't really get out of sight of the coast. They did have, a fantastic trade network that ran all the way up the coast to Aztec Kingdom, right? From here to here, there was a big coastal trade network, right? That went up and down. From they found artifacts from Central America, as far south as Chile, from this trade network. But we're not looking at that side of it. We're looking at this side of it, because they just lived up here. They, there's this waters are rich with toothfish, which are a staple of the Terra del Fuegan diet. But recently we found out that there were settlers on the Falkland Islands, which are these two big islands right here off of South America. For a long time, they were like, oh no, they didn't make it out that far. But now they're claiming that, hey, we found some evidence. We found some fire pits and things like that do indicate that the Falkland Islands were inhabited by early humans. Now, in 1972, a similar claim was made about St. George Island in the South Falkland Islands, which are, let me see. And the reason why this is something I wanted to take seriously, at least to an extent, is because, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? It was on NASA's website that I learned about this. Authentication of Aboriginal remains in the South Shetland Islands. In 1972, the biologist Dr. Victor Ariel Gallardo recovered benthic samples from the bottom of the Admiralty and Chile Bay, and the south part of King George Island for biological purposes. During his lab's analysis, he found 2 different projectile points in separate plastic bottles. Archaeological studies of the artifacts and the place they were discovered proved that these points were not originally from that place, but they were introduced by unknown people during the transportation or during the stay in the laboratory. During the field work, a survey was done in Admiralty Bay and on the northern coast of King George Island, finding numerous historical sites, one of which, Puerto Pircas, was excavated the following year. So, this is on, this is Earth Data, NASA's website, and it gives us the coordinates and everything to find this settlement, this alleged settlement. So let's plug this in and see if it'll bring us where we need to go. Okay, maybe the format needs to change. I need to take out the parentheses. Try that. Don't be like that. Come on. Okay, am I doing the coordinates wrong? That is the coordinates, right? 62 south and 58 west. 62 south and 58 west. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back. I guess we can just do St. George Island. Where is it? King George Island. Yeah, it's that one. This is King George Island. Okay, so quite a bit south of the Falkland Islands, quite a bit south of Tierra del Fuego, and this is some of the most dangerous ocean in the world right here. This down here, they call this the Strait of Magellan, is it claims so many lives. It's quite feared. People will actually go through all these freaking channels up here just to avoid crossing this. Like in modern boats and modern ships, they will go through all of this instead of risking sailing not even sailing. I mean, it's not just sailing ships. They risk traveling into this part of the sea. But this is the island that they allegedly found these artifacts on, and they found like a village and stuff. But it was too good to be true. It's not real. I had to go to the Wayback Machine to find some people trying to authenticate it. But that's why this is in the Wayback Machine. But this is on the NASA website. So no, there was no secret settlement. Thank you so much. Was that Native Atheist? Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Things are a bit shaky right now because I just moved. As you guys know, I've been here about what are we on, week 4 or something like that, close to week 4. And yeah, so anything that you can spare to help me out, I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to get things cooking. Oh, hey, Sumami. Yep, I say ope instead of oops sometimes. Trees, at least you get the pot. I get sharts. The pot shards. Oh my gosh. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Pot shards. Did I say something that makes you think pot shards? I don't know what's happening here. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys think? Antarctica, right? What appeal would that have to, like, Neolithic people? Now, there would be bountiful food sources, right? They would have access to seals and seabirds, and but there might be some level of vitamin deficiency that I would be concerned about. Like, they would have to import. There would have to be some kind of trade network where they imported some veg, right? Pot shards. Oh, pot shards. Pot shards. Oh, gotcha. I'm dumb. Good morning. Yeah. I'm glad Ember enjoys seep wells. Ember, if you want to build a seep well with me sometime, we'll do it. We'll make it our goal. Yeah, I do like the Wayback Machine, though. It lets me see stuff that oh my gosh. Yeah, that lets me see stuff that's not around anymore. I wonder if some of my old websites, because I made a lot of websites when I was younger. I wonder if any of those are on or on the Wayback Machine. I'll have to look after I'm done here. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to finish being weird with it right here. Okay. Because I don't have too much more to say about the Stone Age Antarctica settlements. I don't. The Sahara wasn't always brown. Part of Antarctica's were probably weren't always ice. Well, that's true. Like, we do find there's tons of fossils in Antarctica. The only thing that would appeal to a Neolithic woman would be a Gillette razor. Do they have Gillette razors in Antarctica? I'm sure there's like 15 cat GeoCity sites I made on AOL as a child, right? Yeah, I got like GeoCities and Tripod. I had Tripod sites. What was the other one? Angel Fire. Yeah, Angel Fire had sites. Leonardo DiCaprio. We'll build a seep well between electrolysis sessions. Yay! All right. Well, I'm going to end this segment here, right? Thank you for sticking around and being weird with me while we looked at the Neolithic exploration of Antarctica that wasn't. I'm going to go and, yeah. Be kind and take care. We'll see you next time. Yeah, I'm goofy this morning. I've been sleeping weird patterns. Sorry, everybody. I'm losing my train of thought every 3 seconds. It's kind of frustrating. So thank you for sticking with me while I went through yeah, I learned HTML via Angel Fire too. Yeah. We had a few websites. I think I might have one on Bigfoot. I might have had a Bigfoot website. Goofy is fine by me, yeah. Well, hang in there with me. After this, we're going to talk about Wayne frogs. I love Wayne frogs. If I can stay awake. Sorry. Keep apologizing to you guys. If you didn't want to be here, you wouldn't be here. Love ya. Still got 24 people hanging out, even though I'm losing my train of thought. So, all right. So, I will see you guys in just a minute.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will
All right, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to Bree's Bestiary, where I pick a creature from the animal kingdom and just talk about it because I want to. Sometimes I'll pick a animal that's been domesticated. Sometimes I'll pick an animal that's been driven to extinction or is rare. Or sometimes I'll pick my favorite pet. Sometimes I'll pick some obscure wildlife that you never heard of before. But a lot of times I'll pick something viral. Something that is currently topical for people. So you can see how I covered the little hippo Mudang when she was on the spotlight. I said, oh, you know what? Pygmy hippos are super fascinating. They do more than bite knees in zoos. Let's talk about them. And another viral sensation that I kind of missed, I guess, a little bit was the rain frog, right? The rain frog are these tiny little African frogs that spend most of their lives buried in the sand.
Ever heard a frog scream like it's in a horror movie? Meet the rain frog, a tiny, grumpy creature with a big surprise. Found mainly in South Africa, this frog might be small, but it's full of attitude. When threatened, it doesn't hop away like most frogs. Instead, the rain frog puffs up its body, stands firm, and lets out a squeaky scream that sounds like a rubber toy. This scream isn't just funny. It helps scare away predators by making the frog seem bigger and tougher than it really is. And here's the kicker. The rain frog can't swim or jump like other frogs. It's a land-dwelling frog that prefers burrowing and using its quirky defense to survive. So, why is it called the rain frog? Because it's often found after rainfall, emerging from the ground during wet weather to search for food and mates. Ever heard a frog scream?
Yes, they come out when it's rainy, but I love their little squeaky toy sound. To scare off predators, of course. Nothing. The second best defense mechanism to the red panda, no doubt, which does the I'll put my paws up in the air and stand up, look big and threatening. And they don't just come in avocado.
Isn't it angry strawberry? Also known as the world's cutest frog. This puffed little screamer sounds like a chewy dog toy. They have a downward-facing mouth, giving the impression that they're always grumpy. While ordinary frogs gradually grow legs from tadpoles, this frog hatches with all 4 legs. Its short legs are a major disadvantage, making jumping difficult, so it only crawls forward until it escapes. These pint-sized cuties have a special defense mechanism. When they feel threatened, they puff up like a balloon and let out a high-pitched squeak that will scare off any threat. They feed on termites, ants, and other insects.
I'm terrified.
There are over 17 species.
Are you terrified, guys?
And each of them have their unique traits and adaptations. Its call is so cute. Comment cute if you think rain frogs are cute. Isn't it angry?
How do they survive in the wild?
Enough. And you stop. This is a cliff.
Yeah, they're nervous. Yeah, they're fat. But they do defend themselves, and today I learned how.
Oh, this is a cliff.
Rain frogs get mad when you handle them, and I prefer not to handle them. But when they haven't come up to eat in 2 weeks, I have to step in by digging them up. So far, so good. They aren't that cranky yet. But let's see if finding out their new names will get them going. I decided to name the little male Dumpling, and the smaller female will be named BBL, because I feel like she needs one, and the larger female will be named Big Lois. As Big Lois continues to get fatter, I love her more and more, but eating isn't the only thing she's good at.
There. Oh no.
When they feel they are in danger, they squirt a puddle of mysterious liquid. What is this liquid? Well, to be honest with you, at first I wasn't sure because it seems like a lot. Oh, it's on her face now. But after 25 seconds of research, I have determined that this is pee, which is surprisingly effective because if a bird...
Yeah, it's pee.
were to eat them, they would get a mouthful and then probably spit them out, unless they have more of an exotic palate.
Oh, he's so loud.
How do they survive in the wild?
Enough.
All right, so actually this is the channel that we're going to talk about real quick here, because he got some of these. I didn't know you were allowed to have these as pets. Squirt is pee. It really is.
If she does not eat, she will not live. It's that simple. This is the most mysterious pet on Earth, a rain frog. According to the internet, they're basically impossible to find for sale. They bury themselves alive, and if you actually do get one, it just won't survive. Also, they illegal? If that's all true, then why am I seeing them online wearing tiny hats? What in the world is going on? I need to see what these frogs are
They have adorable butts is the main thing you want to take away from this.
really like. So I'm gonna buy them as
It's always pee.
challenge myself to keep them alive for 60 days, and then we will finally know what it's like. Starting on day 1. But wait, are they really illegal? Well, look at this. There are 34 species of rain frogs. Here are 2. Pick which one you think would not land you in jail if you bought it. Wrong. Both are illegal. Now here is one that is not endangered and totally legal to buy. Ooh, don't mix them up. My
I like that.
would not do good.
Looks like a strawberry. I like the ones that look like strawberries. So cute.
Jail. So this is the... Wait. This is the one we want to buy. Let's buy him. Where do you buy such a rare frog? Well, it's pointless to look at pet stores. They are not going to have them, I promise. And online shops aren't looking much better. Don't worry though, I found this porcupine, and there's one left in stock. Oh, stay focused. We've got one more chance.
You can buy a porcupine for $2,000. Yeah, sometimes you look on these online places and there's some horrid stuff like marmosets and things. Don't buy a primate as a pet. Primates are not pets. If it can't be content living in a enclosure. So like frogs, they don't realize that they're in an enclosure. They just realize like, I'm living in my dirt hole, and every now and then there's bugs and rain.
Ants. Morph market. And unbelievable, dude. They have them. Well, one guy has them. I shot him a message. He showed me the frogs. Yes! They're perfect, dude. $650 and they're all mine. But I have a funny feeling the story is just getting started.
$650 for 3 frogs. That's a lot. And that's a lot for little grumpy avocado boys.
Apparently the best part about keeping a rain frog is feeding it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The frogs will be here tomorrow. I'm so excited. But I gotta be honest with you. I chose 60 days for the duration of this video because that is a most likely time window. The frogs will just die. I know, womp womp. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm first gonna make them a good home. Bad news, I don't know what to do because the info online is garbage. I've seen people recommending these little pellets for them to live on. What is this crap? That does not look anything like Africa, I don't think. That's
to put on the very bottom for drainage. You put a layer of that on the bottom. They won't dig into that. They'll consider that like digging into the bedrock. And then you put a layer of soil over top. That's all right though. He's gonna figure it out.
I made my own recipe. So I've got this empty tank and a blend of substrate designed to hold the shape of their burrows because allegedly they stay buried for 2 weeks at a time. If I can actually get these frogs to make it to 60 days, I'll feel much more confident.
But yeah, you can use that as the drainage too.
What I've learned. At the end of the video, we can all decide if they make good pets. Their first home is almost done, but we still need a basking bowl because Africa is hot, allegedly. It's a simple start, but it'll change as we go, and it's done just in time because I think they're finally here.
Yay!
10 years of wanting a rain frog may be coming to an end on a random Tuesday. The moment is here. I finally have rain frogs.
Rush reptiles to you.
Yes. Yes. Look at these little meatballs. How are they even real?
I can see why you name one of them. I mean, dumpling. Name them like dumpling ravioli and. Oh, I needed a third name because dumpling ravioli. Because he named Big Lois and stuff like that. But I would have named them all after. Yeah.
Oh, look in there. Please comment some names for these guys. I know it's about to be real silly. This is an important one. Serena likes little fatties. Let's see what she thinks. I think she definitely approves of our purchase. Just don't tell her how much they cost.
So cute.
I already love them so much, but according to so many people online, they have a real chance of just not surviving. Unfortunately, all rain frogs are wild caught, meaning to get to me, they were literally scooped off the ground in Africa. Oh, I can fly. Because they're wild caught, they have a much higher chance of...
And just in general, don't buy wild caught animals but especially of species that are rare or endangered. Just in general, I've bought wild caught stuff before. My blue death feeding beetles are wild caught. Not rare at all though. Just desert. They're a species of desert beetle, but no, they're not bred.
Carrying deadly pathogens like chytrid and ranavirus. We need to take these seriously, so I'm testing them using this little test kit, and I have a feeling they're not gonna like it. We have 2 swabs here, one for each test. She's puffed up like this because she's pissed off and she's trying to look big and tough, but I'm not scared of her. I do not fear me.
Hand me white boy.
We need to rub her sides and her belly.
4, 5. Good job, baby girl.
And I can't resist one quick swab between her butt cheeks for good luck. That was just for me. We're sending off the test and we should get the result.
That's the main thing about them is their little butt cheeks. That's what everybody loves. Ouch. Why is bug bite? Oh, it didn't sting me. Stung captive desk. Dave's got stung. Yeah, when I was a fish lady, I refused to buy anything but aquacultured fish. Yeah. I should get a snake or something that needs heat lamps. Maybe that will give my room warmth. No wild caught babies taken from their homes like freaking Finding Nemo. Yeah. Bugbot now has stung native atheists.
In 1 to 2 weeks. These frogs better not be sick. I'm gonna be so sad. I can already hear you typing. So freaking mad at me for buying wild-caught animals. You probably have a lizard on your shirt while you're typing a comment. Here's the reality. Every single pet, lizard, dog, whatever, stems from a wild-caught animal at some point in its lineage. I'm not making this video to encourage you to go buy rain frogs because you like a chunky caboose, because who doesn't? But I've got over 15 years of experience doing this. My dream is to one day breed these guys. That's why I bought 3. Anyways, with that out of the way, we need to turn our attention to something much more important. Getting them to eat. If an animal does not eat, it will not live. So I'm determined to make this happen. And this will first start by getting them settled into their new home.
This isn't Africa.
Yeah, it is.
I thought he put soil down and stuff. What's this? It looks like rocks. Didn't we see him put soil down and make... This doesn't look like the vivarium he made a minute ago.
And he has 2 double XL thick queens by his side. A big female and a smaller female. You can already tell that this girl is going to be a troublemaker. The smaller female here is trying to get cozy under some sphagnum moss. I released some crickets just in case they're hungry, but sadly I don't think they're comfortable enough to eat yet. They're probably still stressed out from shipping and that little incident. But don't worry, I'm determined we can get them to eat.
You violated them. My kid says that their oldest core memory.
The bigger female here is making herself cozy by doing what they do best. Digging.
Oh, P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Yeah.
These creepy little shovel-shaped feet they use to dig backwards. Those stocky legs are surprisingly strong for their size. It takes them a little time to make a nice hole, but that's okay. I don't have plans, obviously, because I do like this all day. They just shut their eyes and cover themselves in dirt. Hey girl, do your thing. I'm in no place to judge how you live your life.
They're so cute. Sometimes,
3 a.m. and something.
Sometimes I want to live like a rain frog. Just get a heat lamp and be the snack. Yeah, be the snack, Ember. But that's what I want to do. I want to be able to like burrow under the ground and cover myself and be like, oh, I'm done with the world. I'm done with the world for the day.
Woke me up. A new noise in my room I've never heard. And no, it's not the ambulance for my neighbor who fights the staircase while drunk that I hear once a week. The noise is totally new, and it's a lot cuter. Our little meatballs are making tiny chirps.
Meatball songs.
Man, that is so cute. Alright, sorry buddy. Back to bed.
It's day 5, and the frogs...
Wait, is he in a polycule? What was that about?
Still have not eaten, and I've totally stopped seeing them. But for a brief moment, I'm getting a chance to get on the meal. A smaller female sticking her head up to bask in that hot, fake African sun. I'm dropping
I love her.
fruit fly.
I would die for her.
Bread not to fly. Unfortunately, they're very good at walking, and they walk right up the wall and out of the enclosure. And some even have the courage to walk on her face.
The answer to this is Vaseline. You just spread it around the top of the cage, and they won't be able to walk through it. Nope. They won't even try. They'll stick their little front little leg in and be like, ew, I'm not stepping in that. And they won't be able to get out. But I digress.
Unfortunately, if your eyes are closed, you can't see your food. So at this point, none of the frogs have eaten. Oh, she looks so peaceful. So far,
I
these
love
are terrible
her.
Pets. Very cute, but it's like...
I would die for her. What do you mean terrible pets? Look at her. Look at her. That is a queen. Oh my gosh, she's so adorable.
Keeping a pet box of dirt. Luckily, they still have a chance to redeem themselves if I can get them to eat. But I need them above ground if I'm going to get them some food. So I'm doing what all other rain frog keepers do to feed them. I'm digging them up. I really try and dig carefully because they are in fact made of meat, and there's very little way to know exactly where they are until you see movement.
Oh, look who it is. Sweetheart, come here. I feel some more meat, too.
Aren't we all made of meat, though?
Crawling her here. Come
And of course, it's always in the last corner you check.
Oh my god.
I love.
I'm sure this is terrifying for them, but it's day 9 and I need them to eat. The smaller female is so angry and terrified she projectile pees and poops on the area she's supposed to eat from, and now she's sliding in it.
Stop. No. Stop, baby. Stop.
So she's getting a pee bath to rinse off.
That's the same defense mechanism I have, though. Just gonna say.
I'm putting the frogs into a feeding container because I need visual proof that all 3 are eating, and I'm going to watch them very carefully. Surprisingly, the smaller male is the first one to start chowing down.
Nom nom
the larger
nom.
female jumps in shortly after.
And these crickets are dusted with calcium powder. You can tell that's why they're white like that.
In the wild, food is scarce, so when they do eat, they really eat, and will often vacuum up hundreds of insects in one sitting. But there's a problem. 2 of the frogs are chowing down, but the smaller female just isn't eating. We'll have to keep a closer eye
Look
on
at that
her.
side eye.
They can't eat larger prey because it's literally too heavy to pick up with their tongue. Rain frogs aren't the best hunters. That doesn't matter though, because at least they look cute while trying. And to my shock, bugs aren't the only thing they eat. The tiny male has turned his attention to something else.
Yeah, here we
His
go.
own skin. That's right. He's shedding, and when they shed their skin, they eat it. Sand
Eat
and
yourself,
all.
buddy.
The way you just did that. Are you eating it? You eat it? Oh my god, you're eating it. No way.
Fresh. Nom nom
Both the
nom.
male and the larger female have eaten, but the smaller female seems to be busy doing something else. Harassing everyone.
She wants out.
She stands on the other frog's neck and back with very little regard for personal space.
Whoa! Alright.
She wants out. She said, get me the fuck out of here. I want to go back to my burrow.
These naked shenanigans are obviously very funny, but on a more serious note, I have not seen a smaller female eat a single bug, and after an hour of face-to-butt activities, I have no choice but to give up, for now. If the smaller female doesn't eat on her own, she just won't make it. It's that simple. 1 week later, and I'm feeding them again, and once again, the male and the larger female eat, and the smaller female just won't take any food. She seems to be
so they are called rain frogs, right? Rain frogs. And it's because they come out to eat when it rains. Do with that information what you will.
panicked and puffed up every time we do this. And now it's day 22 and she still hasn't eaten. I'm getting pretty anxious, so I'm thinking maybe she's sick. It was something I was really worried about. Luckily, our test results from the swabs are back. Chytrid, negative. Ranavirus, negative, and their previous owner treated them for internal parasites, so they should be healthy. I am stumped. Why is my thick queen not eating? I don't like when you do that. I really don't want to lose her. They don't sell tiny round coffins. It's day 24, and the smaller female is still choosing to starve herself, but we can't say the same for the male. Despite just eating, he's still pacing around looking for food.
I crave more protein.
He's the hungry boy.
Meanwhile, his big...
Feed that hungry boy. He just needs some food. Look at that eye. Giving the side eye. If they're called rain frogs because they surface just after a rain, why dig them up? Just make it rain and they'll pop out. They stand there and reach down. Oh, you're talking about the guinea pigs? Yeah. Pull the placenta up and eat it. Their own midwife pulling their own babies out. Well, my guinea pig mama was a good mama anyhow. I was so impressed with the birth part. Not so much with the post-snack. Well, there's people that do that too.
That girlfriend has dug her burrow right up to the glass, but she seems to be having a hard time getting some rest too. Maybe it's all that commotion upstairs. Is there anything worse than your upstairs neighbor trying to climb the walls naked? It's day 28, and as time
I could have downstairs neighbors. I have a bug room directly below me.
passes, I'm experimenting with different places for them to hide, like this cork flat, and not this stick because I think it's too pointy. I still have a lot to learn about them, and I'll be giving them an enclosure upgrade in a couple of months.
Thank you.
It's day 31, and the smaller female is still on a hunger strike. At this point, I'm really stressed out, but I have one last idea. Maybe picking her up stresses her out, can't imagine why, and it makes her not want to eat. She is from the wild, so maybe I can just simulate nature. They are called rain frogs because when it rains in nature, this draws out tons of small insects. The rain frogs know this, so they wake up to eat. And as it soaks in the ground, sure enough, the smaller female wakes up. This is my chance. I'm not going to touch her and freak her out. At first, she's a little bit freaked out by the camera.
Yeah.
So she shoves herself back in her hole. But when those bugs fall in, it awakens something in her. Come on,
get him, girl.
Right there.
Do it. You're so cute.
And she finally eats. What a relief.
I love watching her little tongues.
Make it. Day 45, and now this method of feeding has become habit for us a couple times a month.
Nice.
I feel bad for not doing this earlier, but it shows just how little we know about them. Finally.
But you knew they were called rain frogs, dude. So you knew that they were rain frogs.
Day 60, and all 3 frogs are alive.
We did it, Joe.
So what have we learned? They are fat and so funny, but should you go out and buy these wild caught? Probably not. Was the internet being dramatic? Yes, always. But comment your opinions below. And while you're there, help support my efforts to get these guys breeding by subscribing to our Patreon. I'll be posting any sneaky little updates there. And also, you have direct access to my Patreon DMs. And you can ask me whatever you want. Just don't be creepy. If you like this video, watch another. And
well, I am in favor of getting a breeding population, a captive breeding population, especially in like the zoological preservation corners of things. There's been species that were saved by the pet trade, species of tarantulas that were like pretty much down to like one little like 20-acre region, and they brought them back because they were so beautiful and people wanted to breed them for the pet trade. But I digress. Yeah, don't buy wild caught if you can. There's like, I can't think of any reason why you would buy wild caught of a rain frog. Yeah, when I first got into the hobby, I did buy some wild caught stuff. Like I said, my desert beetles and stuff, I'll catch those wild. But my African trapdoor spider was wild caught that I had, but you know, it was I was just getting into the hobby when I bought that, but I didn't realize that they couldn't breed those in captivity. Yeah. Well, it shows how little he knows about them. Yeah. I'm not into I'm more settled on spiders, I think, for the time being. Spiders, as far as what my little pets are, but I'm going to be hopefully getting my roaches breeding again. Do some glow spots and some hissers and some dubia. Yeah, we'll see though. Anyway, thank you for sticking around while we looked at fat little frogs with butt cheeks. I hope you enjoyed fat little frogs with butt cheeks. I don't know what I have lined up for next week just yet, but we will see when that time comes. I am going to be on Godless Grannies later on today with the whole Transpositions crew. Well, I guess not the whole crew, because I don't know if Carly's going to be there or not. Is Carly going to be there? Carly's not going to be there. Ginny and Purple will be there. So it's going to be queer as hell. It's going to be trans as fuck. So we will be there. I will, staff will, Ember will. Yeah. Anyhow, now it's time to close out the show. Appreciate everybody. I sometimes get some requests to fill in that last half an hour and go until I go the full 3 hours, probably like 2.5 hours right now. I used to do that. I used to do a fourth segment, but I'll be honest, after about 2 hours, I'm burned out. Sometimes I need to take medication, go to the bathroom, just need to take a break. So 2.5 hours is probably good. If I get too excited about something, I will go longer, but yeah. What purposes do roaches serve? They're decomposers. They decompose. They serve an important purpose. They break down matter. Thank you, Ember. All right, please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time.
Yo, VIPs, let's wick it. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, don't know. Turn off the lights. I glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a trunk like a candle. Dance, a rush, speaking that boom, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deathbed. When I play it on melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. Better gateway, better hit bulls like the kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Well, now that the party is jumping with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them. We're not quick and nimble. Go crazy when I hear a cymbal. I hot top with a souped up gimbo on a roll. Time to go solo, rolling in my 5.0. Rack top down when my hair can blow. Girl is on standby, waving just to say hi. Did you stop? No, I just drove by, kept on pursuing to the next stop, busting left. Headed in the next block, block was dead. Yo, I continue to A1A. Beachfront Avenue. Girls were hot wearing less than bikinis. Rock man lovers driving Lamborghinis. Jealous, cause I'm out getting my shade with a gauge of vanilla with a 9 ready for the jumps off the wall. Jumps at the nail cause I'm full of 8-ball gunshots. Ranged out like a bell. Grabbed my 9, all I heard was shells falling on the concrete. Real fast, guns in the car. Stand on the gas, bumper to bumper. Avenues packed. Try to get away before the jackers jack. Police on the scene, know what I mean? They passed me up in front and on the dope beat. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Well, take it cause I'm a lyrical poet. Miami's on the scene in case you didn't know it. My town created all the bass sound enough to shake and kick holes in the ground. My style's like a chemical spill. Feasible rhymes, you can vision and feel. Conducted and formed is a hell of a concept. We make it hype. You wanna step with this? Shape plays on the fade, slice like a ninja, cut like a razor blade. So fast, other DJs say, damn, if a rhyme was a drug, I'd sell it by the gram. Keep a composure when it's time to get loose. Man, it dies by the mic while I kick my juice. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby.
With all the noise, pseudoscience, and political rhetoric clogging the airwaves about transgender people, it can be difficult to understand what's really happening and what's really true. Good news, everyone! Welcome to The Transpositions, your compass in the rugged landscape of transgender issues. Here, we strive to be the beacon of authenticity, providing a platform that amplifies the voices and experiences of the transgender community. From breaking news to in-depth features to breaking down the real science, we are committed to fostering understanding, empathy, and empowerment for all individuals across the gender spectrum. Join us as we navigate the complexities, celebrate the triumphs, and advocate for the rights of transgender people worldwide. Together, we can redefine boundaries, challenge stereotypes, and champion inclusivity. Subscribe today. The link is in the description.